Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Carr. How are we doing today? Good, I'm glad to hear it. I appreciate you guys meeting with me today with your hectic schedules. Obviously, coming into retirement, you're preparing for everything like sale of the business, retiring from the oil business, gifting the house, all that great jazz. And we're trying to be here for you to help. So, in looking at everything we talked about last time in our initial meeting, talking about your current financial situations, your goals, your assumptions, everything like that, we actually built out a plan for you so that we can talk about all your retirement goals. So we built out this big comprehensive plan with all these recommendations, all this fancy stuff, equations, everything like that. So I kind of wanted to sit down with you and just go over one of them just so that we kind of get a clearer view of what we got going on and what we're trying to achieve. So what I wanted to actually talk to you about today was Robert's pension. So there are actually three options within the pension, and I kind of wanted to sit down with you and just discuss what the three options are, which one we would recommend, and kind of why we recommend that option in the pension. Excuse me. So basically the first option is going to be the lump sum. All three options are basically just like they sound. They're kind of what they are. They're going to be the lump sum, single life, and a joint life. So the first one being lump sum. Lump sum is going to be $1.2 million if we retire this year. What that essentially means is that we get $1.2 million to invest on our own. There's no tie to the plan anymore. They don't have any more responsibility with us. We're completely done. A big thing that we have to understand here is that the $1.2 million is still taxable money, qualified money. So it's going to be taxed at our 28% tax bracket every time we pull money from that account. Okay, so once we pull that money, we basically roll it into an IRA account or a traditional IRA account, so that way we can kind of invest it on our own and try and get that assumed 5% growth rate, okay? We would probably push it into Robert's current IRA, so that way we can get the compounding effect with the other $300,000 to get that 5% growth on it. So that being said, the second option is going to be a single life annuity. Basically, it's just what it sounds. It's on a single life, so it's just on Robert's life. So the big thing with this one is that it kicks out payments every month to you so that you get an automatic payment, but it's tied to just one person. So if the one person, Robert in this case, passes away, then that payment stops. So whether it's 5 years, 15 years, or 20 years, if you die, then those payments stop. Lisa does not get any more payments, nothing transfers to your children. Okay? We can actually find this amount out through the plan because they give us the equation that it's actually offering for the benefits. And what it's actually going to be, it's going to be 1.5% times the number of years. Obviously, Robert, in your case, you've been with the company for 25 years, so it'd be 25, times your last annual salary, which is $200,000. So we'd accomplish it by 1.5% times 25 years times $200,000 to bring us to an annual amount of $75,000. Obviously, we can break this down further and we get, divide it out by 12 and we get to the $6,250 a month. So again, big thing with this, it's taxable and it ends with your life. So there's no options of wealth transfer or no death benefit or anything to that degree, causing kind of a larger issue on what you guys are trying to do where you're trying to transfer the wealth to your children. So a big thing with this one is that, again, there's nothing to pass on. And also, when we first sat down and you kind of asked what would be the annual return on that kind of account if you were to take the monthly payment. So basically, we would kind of do an internal rate of return calculation, basically looking at the annual payment and looking at the amount of years that we'd get it. So essentially, we'd do N, which would be the number of years, which would be 20. We'd have a present value of $1.2 million. We'd have a future value of 0, and we'd have a payment of $6,250. It'd bring us to an annualized return of about 2.27%. So, I take that back, 2.23%, I apologize. So, in looking at that, that's not a really great return in this situation because we're assuming that we're going to have a 5% growth. So, you got to kind of take that into account. In looking at the single life, obviously, if you pass away early, the benefit's really not there. There's also another option, which is called the joint life. The joint life is going to be one that is actually tied to both your guys' lives. So it does get reduced down because there's 2 lives on it by about 20%. So, in this situation, you'd go down from $6,250 down to about $5,000. Again, that'd just be taking that $75,000 and taking the 20% off of it. So you get down to $5,000, which is $60,000 annually. So you're getting a little bit lower on that payment that's going to be guaranteed for life, but again, there's no wealth transfer and there's still taxable amounts on it. So the options are kind of skewed into the favor of the lump sum. Obviously, if we're going to be assuming a 5% rate of return on all the other money with the pension only getting about 2.23% on the highest piece, then the reality is the lump sum is going to be more effective for your guys' financial future. So, big thing in this whole situation is obviously just looking at your overall retirement goals. In looking at your goals, one of your biggest wealth goals is going to be transferring to your children. So in this situation, in your situation as a whole, I would recommend that you would take the lump sum, the $1.2 million. You'd roll that money over into your traditional IRA. In the process, we get that compounding effect with the other $300,000 and the $1.2 million being put together in the investment account. And if we assume that 5% growth rate, then we would actually be doubling up from what the pension would be doing. So it's going to be more cost effective, more effective in the long run, and it's just going to achieve more for the what if game. And what I mean by the what if game is, what if you pass away early? What if you both are in a car accident, God forbid, and you guys both pass away together? That money is actually already pulled out in accounts invested and can be transferred onto your children. So in looking at everything that you guys are kind of looking towards doing, it's going to be more in line with your guys' financial future to pull that lump sum and put it into an investment account where you can have more accessible funds. So that's what I would recommend for that one. And I appreciate you guys popping in. I know you guys are limited on time, so I don't want to take up too much time. But I just wanted to say, we built this comprehensive plan for you. It shows everything down to the last dollar of kind of what we would do. So I want you to take some time, read through it. I'll have Emily, our receptionist, get a hold of you in about 2 weeks. And basically, we'll get back together. We'll decide if there's things in there you like, you dislike, however you want, and see if we're even going to move forward together. Because obviously that's a big thing. We want you to be comfortable and we want you to understand. So if you have questions when you're going through the plan, just give me a call. We'll kind of chat through it. But otherwise, I appreciate your time. You guys have a wonderful day.